Hello, viewers of Wasteland TV. We are here with...
Edwin.
What does Edwin do?
I'm an illustrator and also a storyboard artist.
Ah, what have you storyboarded?
I've done some stuff for MTV, like the VMAs and stuff like that. Also, Teen Wolf. Yeah, I've done some storyboards for Teen Wolf for a few years.
So how was that doing Teen Wolf without Michael J. Fox in it?
I mean,
or Jason Bateman.
It's mostly for, like young teens and stuff, so it's a bit different, but it was fun. It's a bit stressful, like storyboards.
Was it a lot like Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Kind of, yeah.
I never saw the show.
It ran for quite a while, but I don't think it has such a cult following as Buffy, but it's
I'm surprised Teen Wolf had a TV show, because I didn't think those two movies had a following.
Yeah, it ran for
I think about 4 years.
4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, which is a good lifespan for a show like that.
Oh, yeah.
Very few shows last as long as like The Flash.
Yeah.
And The Flash, you're going, you should have died at season 4 or 5.
Gotcha, yeah.
Green Arrow should have died at season 3.
Yeah, I honestly haven't watched any of the CW shows, but you hear about it on Twitter.
Out of all the CW shows, I recommend Superman and Lois.
Okay.
If you love Superman, it has the heart of what Superman should be.
Gotcha. That's like the newer one, or is
there?
Yeah,
it's a newer one.
I remember growing up watching the one with
Dean Cain.
Dean Cain, yeah.
The comical one,
yeah.
Lois and Clark.
Yeah, I remember watching that as a kid.
It was kind of like the equivalent of Superman's version of Batman '66 with Adam West.
Oh yeah. It's kind of goofy.
Yeah. Making fun, a little bit of Jade at the entire genre of superheroes.
Yeah.
When you have Jonathan Frakes and his wife Laura from General Hospital being villains, Riker and Laura, it's kind of a funny combination.
Okay, yeah.
But what comic is your most popular one you did as a illustrator?
I would say mostly the Street Fighter stuff. I've been working with Udon Entertainment for about 10 or so years at this point. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, did you start your career on Udon?
No. Oh, kind of. So the project manager at the time, his name is Jim Zub. He didn't have work for me at the time with Udon, but he wanted to work on his, I guess, indie title called Skull Kickers. So I hopped on that for about 5 years before working on Street Fighter.
So what was your first issue of Street Fighter you did?
I think it's called Street Fighter Unlimited.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I worked on that, and then after that I did an ongoing series called Street Fighter vs. Darkstalker.
So did you do the art interior to it?
Oh, yeah.
This supposed to be drug payment.
Yeah, we worked on that for a few years, so it was pretty fun. And tiring, too. Like, interiors just kind of take its toll on you,
Well, it's the equivalent of doing every month 32 pages of storyboarding.
It really is. Like, I did comics for about 8 years, and I swore I wouldn't do it again, but...
Well, I did animation for 5 years, and it's like 15, 20 years back in that day when in the 80s. Because you were an animator, the artist, the game designer.
Yeah.
You were a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and there's less like digital stuff to help you to aid you too.
And
right?
then you had to do pencil and pen. You had to understand how the body moves.
Yeah.
You had to understand how to go to the library and use books.
Yeah.
What's a book?
Yeah. You got to go there to get your reference material, right? Yeah.
Or understand how find action figures that move the way you want them, so you can see the joints.
Yeah. Also, you got to get well acquainted with the light box too, right?
Yeah. Not with the light box so much, because the computer did most of the work. You you just had to draw it and then learn how to use the mouse to draw back then.
I see.
You didn't have the nice pen and stuff.
I got lucky. I started like in high school. My first, I guess, digital stuff was done through a Wacom Sapphire, so I did start with a tablet pen.
I started with the old-fashioned way, mouse.
That's rough, man.
But I actually started out as a stop-motion animator.
Oh, snap, okay.
Instead of a real animator. And so it's like when I'm in college, they're looking at why is a grown man playing with Barbie and Kens. And so me and a friend of mine, he was the one who assisted me. We did a 14-minute video of a gunfighter.
A gunfighter?
A gunfighter with a Ken doll.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And a 3 3/4 robot from Captain Power.
Okay. How did that go? Was it fun?
Real good. And then we ripped off the music from Conan the Barbarian.
Nice.
It's a great soundtrack.
I don't think I'm too familiar with I guess, the sound and music from that era, but it's like super 80s sounding,
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
it's not super 80s. It's still in the genre of serious, like Star Wars. You know,
Okay.
what makes Star Wars lasting and Indiana Jones, it took itself serious as music.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense.
You know, are these posters here, or are they just covers, or?
So these are all prints that I've done personally. So these are all personal prints that I sell at conventions. Yeah, these are
None are covers for our comics.
No, I'm not allowed to do that. Yeah, I try not to double dip any of that stuff.
Yeah, because I know I've been to conventions where they double dip.
It's like Artist Alley already is writing that kind of fine line between what's acceptable and not. So,
Yeah.
I try not to double dip.
Do you get in trouble for using characters from video games and stuff?
It varies. If for some reason, if you're at artist alleys, it's kind of like a weird safe haven for artists to be okay. But if you bring these to the exhibitor floor, you can kind of.
I know Marvel and DC tend to hunt some artists down, like who do sculpting.
Sculpt? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, like they do like the custom sculpts.
So
for,
those
like,
custom
Marvel
sculpts
Legends
for little model kits and stuff,
Yeah.
or statuettes.
Yeah.
They
I
don't
see.
like you competing for that.
I see. I know Marvel and DC have a unspoken rule where you can kind of put some of your, like if you're selling sketchbooks at Artist Alley, you can put a certain amount of Marvel characters in there and DC characters.
They want to promote.
Yeah, and it's like a portfolio rather than like trying to sell off just
Yeah.
Marvel stuff. Yeah, so they're pretty cool about it.
But have you been happy now with doing comics, since you said you were kind of unhappy at first?
It's a lot of labor, but it's a labor of love, so I do enjoy doing it.
So how many things of Sonic you do? My friend's a big Sonic nerd.
Sonic I only did about 6 issues. This was during the Archie era too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. For IDW, I've only done one cover for them.
You haven't done any more?
No.
How about for Marvel and DC?
Marvel, I've done a bunch of like digital cards for them a while back, and I think I did a couple covers with Guardians of the Galaxy as well. DC I haven't touched. I would love to though.
Which character?
I did. I think a couple of Gamora stuff. Yeah.
No, but which character DC would you like to do?
Oh, I would probably say Wonder Woman or Supergirl even. Yeah.
Which version of Supergirl? Remember, she has a bunch of different costumes and variations.
I grew up in a weird era. Like I think I started reading Supergirl through Superman, Batman, the Jeff Loeb stuff. I think.
Back when she wore the white, she looked like the anime Superman Adventures.
No. I think it's the one with Michael Turner with the.
Oh, the
blue skirt.
midriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she had the skirt when she originally started, but the midriff wasn't until Turner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I grew up on that Turner era, which.
A lot of people grew up on Turner or just enjoyed Turner's art.
Yeah.
And it was sad when he passed away.
Yeah.
You know, I think he touched more people than Mark Silvestri for Sexy Kitten comic.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, with he did Fathom as well, right?
He did Fathom.
Was fun.
He started on Witchblade,
Yeah.
Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
did some Marvel DC characters.
He had that nice, I guess, Eastern influence on the way he draws faces, so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, because it's like he took Jim Lee's look and refined it.
Yeah.
But it's like in the end of the day, Jim Lee's kind of the master of. Horrible publisher at DC, but a great artist. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, no, he's an absolutely amazing artist.
Yeah, it's like Todd McFarlane. He's improved so much over the years as an artist. It's like I got a couple months ago. They re-released Spawn #1 as a special edition for the 30th anniversary of him. And I go, I remember just looking at it and thinking, this is a really great looking comic book. And I'm going, this is really ugly now. Because I've been reading the current Spawn, and McFarlane is really.
That whole '90s era has kind of a certain aesthetic that I guess didn't age well. I guess.
Oh yeah. But then there's Rob Liefeld, who just hasn't aged well, but you kind of like looking at his work.
There's a certain charm to him now.
Yeah. And it's like my friends would get after, why do you like Rob Liefeld? I go, he's a certain character to him.
Yeah.
You know, he is the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, when you think
it's also cool seeing his character come to life in the big screen too.
You know, when you think no ankles and no anatomy study. That's Rob Liefeld, and that was the
He was
90s.
young. He was like, what, 17, 18?
17, 18?
Yeah, so I mean, you can't really blame him too much at that age. But I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
You know, the thing with it is they put dynamics into characters. You know, it didn't. They're you know, like Rob Liefeld's a good example. He had very little anatomy study at that time, but he understood dynamics.
Yes.
You know, same as Eric Larson and Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
You know, it's the dynamics.
Reaching out poses
Yeah.
and stuff.
That 3D look.
Yeah, that and a huge emphasis on style too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool to see.
And then now they've kind of floating around in different. They don't really have a direction in art and stuff anymore. I think the last big push was in the early 2000s.
Yeah, now it's more like a house style. You gotta
Yeah,
follow.
it's a house style, or it's just very common and not very like, oh shit, that's Jim Lee doing a comic book. You don't hear that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they want the writer to be the hero, not the artist.
Yeah.
And it's either a compilation of two, or it is the artist who basically sells the comic.
Yeah.
'Cause visually-
before it's more like a tag team.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of, I guess, a conveyor belt of like writer,
Yeah.
pencil, or inker. Yeah.
You know, very few things are like Watchmen, where the artist is good, but not wowing.
Yeah.
But the story was wowing.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell I've read too many comics in my day.
You know, I've been kind of out of it lately in terms of reading comics. It's been a while.
I've been reading more indies again.
Gosh, what have you been reading?
I've been reading a lot of Dynamite.
Okay.
You know, the Sex Kitten comics, going back to that. You know, Red Sonja,
Uh-huh.
Vampirella, Elvira's got a good running series right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's Elvira in Hollywoodland.
I like
Actually,
it.
every season, every issue, she lands in a different movie genre. Like
That's actually pretty fun.
issue
man.
1 is Psycho,
Yeah.
and she breaks Psycho. Issue 2, I don't remember what it was. Issue 3 is The Shining, and she breaks The Shining and is making fun of everyone.
I'm
And issue
glad-
4 was Alien, and that was
Okay.
kind of fell short, but it had its moments like where I never knew that I've never seen Alien, but the robot was played by what's his name, Bilbo Baggins, the old guy.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, because she goes, knock it off, Bilbo.
But no, I'm glad they're having fun with it. Or
Oh,
had
yeah.
Fun with it. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, because it's like Elvira is one of those characters that was a fun character. You just watch her movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's questionable, some of it, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
You know, any age could watch it, and you wouldn't feel like you're dirty about it.
Yeah.
You know, she was always good about that, and she knew her sexuality. You know, have you
She's
ever?
still doing shows and stuff too, right?
Yeah, she does. She does live shows She just retired the live show in Universal,
Okay.
and she did a big auction of a lot of her Elvira memorabilia.
Oh, that's nice.
I was watching on YouTube her talking about it.
Uh-huh.
I never knew she wore the same shoes for almost her entire career.
Really?
Yeah. She
That's
found
at
one pair at
least-
Frederica Hollywood,
Uh-huh.
and she could never find another pair of them till about 10 years later that
Okay.
resembled them.
Nice.
But she goes, I had to repair these things so many times and stuff like that. It was just
That's kinda
interesting. Yeah, and all the parts of her car, her Elvira car, you know, because they wouldn't let her have the car, but they let her have parts of it, like the license plate, the steering wheel,
I see. Yeah.
you know, because the studio wanted to keep
Yeah.
own the car, but they didn't need the parts that made it the prop to the movie.
Uh-huh.
So she had all those props.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah.
At least she has something as part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to hear that.
Yeah.
But I better let you get to your customers here.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you dropping
Yeah.
by, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you, dude.
Thank you. So, any last words before we go to any inspiring artist?
I mean, just keep at it. I know there's a lot of controversy recently with like the whole AI art stuff. So.
What's
I mean,
AI
just
art
keep,
stuff?
So there's these programs that kind of.
Oh, the AI that do.
Yeah, so I know it's kind of discouraging right now, but just keep at
Well,
it.
back in my day, it was called Photoshop.
I know, right?
You know, I take a photographer, and you could take a half-ass or shitty photographer, and they could turn great if they knew how to use Photoshop magnificently.
Yeah, Exactly. Yeah. Photoshop. Yeah, that's a good example. But yeah, it's good to see artists fighting back against the AI stuff. But mostly it's just kind of you can kind of there's ways of combating it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice for people who want to create something quickly, but it cheats the artist,
Yeah.
and it
Exactly.
makes you. Why go to school then?
Yeah.
Why go and study all these years and become a master at your trade?
Yeah.
But we'll stop there, and
Yeah.
it was nice talking with you.
Yeah. It's good talking to you too, man.